Hello, darlings. We are happy to convene with you and to speak about a few things. One thing we'd like to talk about and put on the air is the idea that fatherhood is a sacerdoce, and by that we mean that fatherhood is a beautiful vocation of being the inspiration, the drive, the pusher and the puller of a whole family sometimes, but at least the children. And by the children, we mean the ones who are in your charge, the one who have chosen you as a father before this life. They have come down to the plain field of earth to be your little subjects, and you are the king of the family in a way. There is a queen just as valuable, but the king, his role is to be the leader in a way that is inspiring and comforting and protecting and providing. But the providing is not the key. The key is not the providing. Many think it's the key because providing protects, providing is an expression of love, but providing is not everything. It's not everything. What's most important is to understand the role of fathers. This is Sylvie's father speaking. He was a good father in a way. By the time she got to know him, he had learned many lessons. He had had many mistakes corrected because he was a selfish father to begin with. At the start, he was a very selfish father, but he understood that selfishness was not his modus operandi. It was his taught behavior by society who demands men to be selfish, who ridicules men who are loving and caring at that time. And he didn't want to be that kind of person anymore. He was ashamed of it. He realized his children were feeling uneasy with that. And he did what many do in that case from the afterlife. He decided to be the best father he could be from the beyond. So he told Sylvie he was going to be her guide, and he has been, and she's gone on a wonderful journey with him, an incredible journey. And he wanted her to know that it is important to be a father, it is important to be a good father, it is important to be the father that your children need. So you assess the need of your children, you pay attention to where they're at. Are they shy? Then you encourage them to be self-confident. Are they arrogant and foolish? Then you let them know that they're not the center of the world. If they are silly and non-focusing on what they need to, you let them know that that's important. So you don't need to be harsh. You don't need to be violent. You don't need to be difficult and complicated about things. It's very simple. Sylvie has experienced it many times. You just say to the children what is, and you realize that in their awareness there is very little to grab onto. They don't know so much. You forget as adults that children know so little things that you take for granted that are obvious, such as you do not take things that do not belong to you. They don't know. They simply don't know. So you don't get angry, because when you get angry, they feel that they committed a fault when they haven't. They haven't because they did not know. You're not guilty of not knowing. That's your job, the parents. That's your guilt, not theirs. If they don't know something, it's something you haven't taught them. So when they steal, when they're little, it's not a theft, it's ignorance. Sylvie told this little child, this is for everyone, when she pointed at something that was for everyone, and the child didn't know. So the child had put it in his pocket, thinking he could. He felt a little bit strange about it. He felt something was not quite right. He knew there was something not quite right. But he didn't know that this idea that it's for everyone was wonderful. Fantastic. And so when she said that a few times to him about several things he had taken, he realized, he understood all of a sudden how beautiful that was. How beautiful it is to share and to be in this celebration in the town where everything is shared. All of a sudden, he came to her and he realized she was just trying to tell him it's wonderful. It's wonderful to share. And in that moment, he had a great realization. So, this is an example. And we assist Sylvie in saying those things, yes. And she loves it. She loves it because she sees a transformation in front of her eyes. And you will see it too if you practice. So you just have to practice to say things in a very simple way, just matter of factly. For example, someone takes something, you say, "Oh, that's not for you," or "That's for someone else," or "That belongs to someone else," and that's enough. Because every time they make this kind of mistakes, you're gonna say the same thing. So it's gonna be clarifying for them what is what. They're just confused. So you have to assume every time that children are confused or ignorant, meaning not knowing, and put that as a basis of your reaction with children. So you don't say you did something wrong, because wrong is only wrong if you know it's wrong, otherwise it's just a mistake. So you say to the child, you made a mistake. And they love to hear that from you because it comes with a smile. It's like a wonderful adventure for them if you always come with a smile. You say, "Oh, you made a mistake. It's funny, look at it. You made a mistake. You took that. How come? You didn't know. That's okay. It's for everyone. It's for this person, for that person. Isn't that great? They're going to have it. They're going to be happy about it." And then the child is happy about it. He rejoices in knowing that he allowed someone to have something by he's not taking it. It's very simple for them. It's have and have not, do or do not. Very simple. So you just give them simple instructions, and the rest comes naturally because they have the light inside of them. They have the knowledge already built in. They just have to recall it. That's what happens. They recall the information, they put it online, on the computer, so to speak. It comes online, it's integrated, assimilated, and then it's done. And then there's no drama. So drama is something we sometimes are addicted to. We think if there's no drama, there's no progress. Well, progress is progress, drama is drama. Sure, we can learn through drama, but we don't have to. We can learn through love and compassion and explanations and leadership and protection and kindness and all sorts of things like that that are very positive. So this is an encouragement for fathers to look at what they're doing. Many great fathers out there, no doubt. And we see them and we love them. But there are fathers who are good. They're well intended, very well intended. They're kind. They're hardworking. They're all kind of wonderful things. But they forget that kids are what they are. A new person who arrived just a few years back. How can they know everything? How can they know that selfishness is what it is? How can they know that being alive is coming with a few rules and regulations? They just need to learn. That's all they need. So to think that a child needs to be scolded in order to learn a lesson is very detrimental, because a child in that case is not put on the path of learning. He's put on the path of faultiness, of guilt, of wrongdoing. So the wrongdoing becomes his identity. He starts to think he is a wrongdoer, and that's dangerous, as you know. So you don't want to put a child on a wrongdoer path. This is what many people used to do in the past, in ancient time, in recent times, the last century or so. It used to be the main course of action, to tell people how wrong they are, to tell children how wrong they were, so that we thought they would correct their mistakes. But the effect was not that at all. The effect was that they thought it was their identity, and that was very dangerous, and that's why there was so many problems on planet Earth. This is one of the causes. So we try to correct that and let you know that it's not necessary. So if you are someone who loves their children, as many of you do, but you thought that that was a good thing for them, we just suggest you reevaluate that and look at what happens when you say things in a very simple way. Look at the emotion within you. Let it be fully integrated first. So don't think that you're going to be able to do that right away. It may take a while. First, you're going to want to do it, but the anger will come out anyway. So, what to do? If you see that happens and you want to do it the new way, you just say, oh, I'm still angry because I still think in part of myself that children are faulty, that they are at fault. But you just remind yourself, yeah, that the fault is not a fault, it's just ignorance, it's just not knowing. And so you remind yourself, and then the anger dissipates, it leaves you. And you have to allow for it to come up and dissipate, come up and dissipate each time. And how many times will it take for you to purge this anger? It may take a while or not, it depends on how much you carry. So once you understand that, you're going to see that that also affects you deeply personally, because you're going to remember that your father may have treated you this way, and it's going to be painful because you're going to think, well, my father didn't do that for me. I want to do it for my children, but how unfair is this? I did not receive this kind of love. So that's painful, and you have to acknowledge the pain of that. And you have to acknowledge that children today receive better treatment than yesterday, and you receive probably, perhaps, most likely, let's just say, better treatment than your parents, perhaps. Not necessarily, it varies. But you have to understand things evolve. And so our job, your job, our job as parents is to be the harbingers of the new way of being. We always expect to be a little lesser than the next generation. That's our job as parents, because of course society evolves, otherwise what's the point? So we accept that our children are going to receive something we haven't received. That's the nature of it, more or less. It's the nature of it because of the way things works, because of linearity, because of procreation. So our children becomes the recipient of the best that we can offer, and they will give the best that they can offer to their children. So if that's always true, we always progress, we always evolve, we ascend. We ascend in the spiritual sense and in the common sense of progress. So that's important. So if you feel those feelings of injustice to yourself, then acknowledge them. Acknowledge them. Have a time with yourself where you say, it's not fair. I suffered. I was brutalized by my parents. And I realized it was not a loving thing to do for a child. But for your parents, it was because they thought that it was. Most likely, not always. Sometimes it's not so, and you know if it's not. You know in your own being if it was misguided love or not love at all. But either way, there's always a degree of love. There's always a degree of love in there somewhere. So it's not that you're not loved, because you are loved tremendously by all your guides and all the light beings. That's always the case, and that's millions of them. And you are cherished, so don't forget that. So this feeling of awe that you have not received the gift that you're giving to your children, it's a kind of thing that can free you because you will see that this gift you're giving to your children, being something you did not receive, is a special gift. It's the most beautiful gift you can give to your children, the very gift you never received. So that's tremendous love, tremendous love. Are you ready to give tremendous love to your children? That's the thing you have to ask yourself. And you'll see that it's not a bad thing, it's a wonderful thing. Once you integrate it, that means you look at it with your deep heart, you will see that it's a beautiful thing. And you won't be angry anymore. You won't be you'll forgive yourself for being the bad kid. You'll forgive your parents for being the bad parents, and you'll forgive your children for being unfair. So these are all words we use that are kind of a keystone. So we don't mean it literally, but it's a keystone. So your subconscious works very much with keystones, with keys. And so we use these words, and you can use them too, and you'll see that they have a kind of power. So try that. So we wanted to say that and encourage all fathers to be loving and to encourage their daughters to be to encourage their daughters, yeah, their sons also, and to tell their daughters you are special. Because the problem with men and women in this world at this time, for the general, for the mainstream, is that girls grow up in a world that's created by men. Everything around them, most things are created by them: houses, furniture, cars, lampposts, buildings, streets. Most of it is made by men. And this is something that's not discussed in society. So that's kind of like a hush hush, no no talk talk. And that affects children quickly because they slowly come to that realization, not right away, it takes them a while. But little by little, little women realize they are so not included in society. They are and they are not. They're honored, but not honored because no one talks about a thing like that. So, what are we to do about that? The fathers have a great power in that field. They are the one who can empower their daughters by teaching them the way of men, not the way of being a man, but the way of man in terms of technical skills. And many are doing that now. It's beautiful. They're teaching them how to drill, how to build, how to make things, how to nail things, how to do all kind of beautiful things. And the women are exceedingly talented in that stuff because they are very intelligent in their own way. They are very intuitive, as you know, so that helps them tremendously. They don't have the same talents and the same abilities, but they have their own kind. You forget that, all of you. They have their own kind of skills, and no one knows what they really can do with it because no one has let them make things until now. And so when we let women all make things, what kind of a world are they going to build? Wouldn't you like to know? Isn't this wondrous? It is wondrous because we know what they can build and you don't. And my friend, believe me, it's worth giving it a try. You'll see. You will be blown away. So give it a try and consider all this. And to your sons, tell them you are powerful enough. You are powerful already. You are a strong man already. So don't try to prove it. Don't try to prove it. There's nothing to prove. A man is born strong. A man is born strong. There's nothing to prove. You are already that, so strong. So be a protector. Be a lover. Be all the wonderful things a man can be because you will get great joy out of it. So that is all. Thank you. We love you.